Hello, I'm David.
Hello, I'm Natalie.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Today, we look at what people do at the weekend. Do they stay in, stay at home? Or do they go out?
And we look at when people go on holiday.
But first, the weekend. Kevin, what do you do at the weekend?
Well, first I get up late.
Always?
Yes, always. Every weekend I get up late. I always get up late. Saturday and Sunday, I always get up late. Always. Always.
What time do you get up at the weekend?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock?
That's late.
You don't get up before 12 o'clock?
Never. I always get up late. I never get up before 12 o'clock. Never, never, never. Never, never.
So, you get up late?
Never before 12.
Never before 12. But then what do you do?
Oh, different things. I sometimes go shopping. I sometimes go for a walk. I sometimes watch television. I sometimes go shopping. Not always. I sometimes go for a walk, and I sometimes watch television. Sometimes. Sometimes.
Always. Always. Sometimes. Sometimes. Never. Never.
At MAP Advertising, Rachel Hanson is doing some market research for a magazine. It's a magazine for young men and women. Rachel wants to know what they do at the weekend.
Excuse me,
Yes?
could I ask you some questions?
Of course. Sit down.
It's nice here.
Yes, it is. What do you want to know?
I work for an advertising agency, and I'm doing some research. It's for a new magazine, for people like you.
People like me? What do you mean?
People between 18 and 25 years old.
Oh, okay.
Right. What do you do at the weekend?
Well, on Fridays, my wife always goes to her exercise class. Then she visits friends.
Don't you go out?
Not on Fridays. I never go out on Fridays. I stay at home and watch television.
And on Saturdays?
On Saturdays, my wife and I always go sailing together.
Really?
We love it. We never miss it. And then, in the evening, we go out.
Where to?
Different places. We sometimes go and see friends. We sometimes go to the cinema or a restaurant. But we always go out on Saturday evenings.
I see. And now, Sunday. What happens on Sundays?
Nothing special. We often go for a walk. And I always cook a big Sunday lunch.
Oh? How often do you do the cooking?
Twice a week. 3 times a week.
Thank you very much. All I need now are your personal details. Your name, job, and so on. What's your surname?
Robinson.
So, what did Rachel find out?
On Saturdays, my wife and I always go sailing. We never miss it. We always go sailing. Every Saturday. We sometimes go to the cinema. We sometimes go to a restaurant.
And what about Sundays?
We often go for a walk. Often.
Often. Often.
Always. Often. Sometimes. Never.
Kevin, how often do you go out?
3 times a week.
Natalie?
Twice a week. And how often do you go out?
Once a week.
How often do you go out? How often? How often?
3 times a week. Twice a week. Once a week.
Once. Twice. 3 times. 4 times. 5 times. 6 times. 7 times. 8 times. 9 times. 10 times. 11 times. 12 times.
How often?
But I never go out.
Cook the dinner.
I always cook the dinner. How often do you cook the dinner?
Wash the dishes.
How often do you wash the dishes? I always wash the dishes. I always cook the dinner. I always wash the dishes. We never go out.
We don't always work. We sometimes go out. And we sometimes go on holiday. Natalie, how often do you go on holiday?
Once a year.
Kevin?
About 4 times a year.
4 times a year?
How often do you go on holiday?
Probably twice a year, once in the winter, then again a summer holiday.
I go on holiday about 5 or 6 times a year.
I try and go on holiday at least 3 times a year.
I take a vacation about once or twice a year.
I don't very often go on holiday at all.
How often do you eat in a restaurant?
I eat in a restaurant about twice a week.
At least once or twice a week.
Oh, we probably eat in a restaurant once a week.
How often do I eat in a restaurant? Once a month?
Always.
Never.
Sometimes.
Once a day.
Twice a week.
6 times a year.
How often? How often do people do things? The Wheeler family live in the United States. Let's join them for a typical American weekend at home.
Our home here is fairly large. We have 4 bedrooms, an office, a bunch of bathrooms, I think 4 bathrooms. In England, you'd say it was 3 reception rooms, but it's a front room, a dining room, and a breakfast nook. We do a lot of things around the house on the weekend. We garden quite a bit, working in our garden. We play basketball on the basketball court we got out and back.
All right.
At the weekends here, I go out a lot with my friends on Friday or Saturday nights. Sometimes we'll go to the movies or just go to other people's houses and watch videos.
Usually Saturday afternoon is crank up the barbecue, and that's our meal, because during the summer it gets pretty hot here, and sometimes you just want to be outside rather than be inside. In California, you really have two seasons from our entertainment point of view. Spring, summer, and fall are very much the same type of activities, and then winter is very different on the activities that we do on the weekend. Summertime activities are usually involved around the children's sports. My youngest son plays Little League. That's baseball.
You're going to see a lot of little boys taking a game very, very seriously. They're all dressed up in their uniforms. There will be quite a few teams because it's a large park area that they play in. And there are a lot of teams, a lot of different colored uniforms, and they're all playing their game.
Hey, Tom, get a piece of it.
I'd like to live in the USA. Natalie, would you like to live in another country?
I'd love to.
Kevin?
I am living in another country.
Oh, yes.